This video is for you if you've been crying about your avoidant ex in the breakup. I'm talking about like, it's difficult to sleep, it's difficult to eat, it's difficult to live, okay? And this has been going on for weeks, maybe months, for some of you guys years. But then you have an aha moment and you see a twinkle of hope, called it a shimmer, a glimmer of hope. And you're like, wait a minute, do I even want that person back? And that moment, guys, that's your crowning glory. That's your breakthrough. So let's talk about how to get from crying on the floor and just devastated over this breakup, right? Ruminating thoughts, obsessive thoughts, looping cycles, to clarity and moving forward. If you guys are new to the channel, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a mindset mastery coach, transformational hypnotherapist, and attachment style specialist. And I bring you videos on attachment theory. A lot of the times you'll see a cat in the background like you just did. That's Frankie. He's a little spicy little orange nugget. And I love what I do. I love working with you guys. If you're interested in learning more about how I work with clients one-on-one, you can book a free 20-minute discovery call. There's a link below to book that. And let's get started. Let's dive in. So this is about the day that you realize that you don't actually want your avoidant ex back. The first thing I want to do, let me put it this way. I don't ever want someone's pain to feel invalidated. I want to validate that the pain you're experiencing, the heartache, the devastation, the attachment to this person is very real. Oftentimes though, it's not that someone's breaking our heart, it's that they've broken our expectations. I think it was Kyle Cease that said that. So won't quote me as saying that. I believe it was Kyle Cease. And I was like, God, that makes so much sense. The goal when I'm working with clients is to help you step back and see things from a higher perspective. It's not to override the pain or not to even prevent you from going through the grief cycle, because I think that's very important, but it's rather to be able to see things from a different perspective, to give you more empowerment as you move through this pain, as you move beyond this pain, right? So I understand the dialogue that you have in your head. Like, raise your hand, give me a comment below, give me a like, share, subscribe below if you've ever had a conversation with your avoidant ex right here, okay? I've had like millions of them in my head that I never actually had in person. I wrote out texts that I never sent. I wrote out emails I never sent. Some of them nice, some of them not so nice. Some of them I was like, you know what I'm saying? So that's normal. The rumination, because a lot of times you were left, it's like a cliffhanger, okay? You were left, there was a comma in the middle of a sentence and you're like, well, what's next? They ghosted, they disappeared, they didn't give valid reasons for breaking up with you. So that obsession with closure that you seek is really your nervous system trying to trying to figure this out, trying to get a solution to the pain, but that solution does not lie with that person. So let's talk about the breakthrough moment. We've talked about the pain, we know those moments. Maybe you're even at the stage where you can kind of laugh at yourself and it was like, yeah, I did that. You know, I stayed awake, I crafted out a text, it was 3 a.m, I never sent it. Maybe you did send it, I don't know. Let me know if you got anything back, because chances are you probably didn't if it's a true avoidant. But I want to paint a picture of hope. That's one of the things I love doing with my clients is they come in, they're feeling hopeless in that first session or in that discovery call. And I want people to understand that there is life after the avoidant. There's life after the breakup, after the ghosting. And in fact, there's a way for you to feel even more whole and more empowered than perhaps you did before. Absolutely possible. So let's say maybe you find yourself laughing at something again and forgetting your ex. Now, I have a lot of men that watch this channel, but I do know that I have a lot of very sensitive, amazing men also. And maybe some of you have watched Sex and the City. So Sex and the City, I didn't love the second installment at all. Horrific. But I loved the first installment like 20 years ago. And there was a line where it was Carrie's character, Sarah Jessica Parker. And she had gotten stood up at the altar by Mr. Big. I know you guys are like, I've seen it, I've been there. And she's like, she hadn't laughed. So they went on her honeymoon, her and the girls, they went on her honeymoon, even though obviously she was devastated, depressed, stayed in her beautiful room for hours with the blinds closed. And then Charlotte shit her pants because she refused to eat the food. I think they were in Mexico, so she was eating chocolate pudding while she shit her pants. And Carrie laughed again, and she's like, I didn't know if I would ever laugh again. And so when you laugh again at something, when you find yourself coming back home to yourself, being more of yourself again, that feels so incredibly good, right? Because you realize, well, I'm on the trajectory to healing. Like something is shifting inside of me. Or you might see an old text thread or a photo of them or a memory on Facebook will pop up reminding you of something 5 years ago. And maybe you won't feel as much. You won't feel that twinge of pain that you felt before. Or maybe you'll feel nothing even. You'll realize that you don't miss the person, but you miss the fantasy of what you thought that person could be, or maybe what they showed you in the beginning. You missed the fantasy of the future that never got to unfold, right? You missed the ending of the story that you never got to see or experience. And I think oftentimes when we don't experience the ending of the story, we create this story. We create a story or an ending in our minds of how it could have been. Oh, it would have been so wonderful. We would have just skipped off into the sunset. Probably not, because I've caught myself doing that as I was going through my divorce. And it's like, no, that wasn't ever going to happen with said individual. So I had to catch myself lying to myself, right? Trying to sort of keep the memory alive or the hope alive when really there was none. And maybe there wasn't ever any to begin with. So what changes internally when you start to have those glimmers of hope? And by the way, if you're watching this and you haven't had that experience yet, it's coming. I promise you it's coming. Your nervous system calms down. You find a state of regulation. Now, yes, it's true, we co-regulate inside relationships. So we do need other people to help co-regulate ourselves. That's why someone who's alone for a long period of time and then finally gets into a relationship is like, oh, I thought I was secure. It's me and my marriage. I thought I was healed. And then you're like, nope. So keep in mind that we need other people to help. We co-regulate inside of relationship, not just romantic relationship, but friendship, colleague to colleague, etc. Your emotional processing starts to close the loop on that story. It starts to find internal closure. And I've talked about this in other videos. And guys, I don't know why they don't get as much traction. I wish they would, because what gets traction is the types of videos like what is the avoidant doing? But I have hypnosis videos out there. I think I have 5 or 6 now for free hypnosis videos. You can get a lot of benefit from a 10-minute guided hypnosis session, and I offer 5 of them. So go check those out. Those can really help you start the healing process. I'm offering them for free on here because I know the value. I know not everyone can work with me one-on-one. So you can get the value of the healing for free and really start to get to the subconscious root of the obsession and of the looping and of the ruminating. When you stop feeding the obsession cycle, right? When you decide to make different choices and you don't reach out to them when you want to, or you don't talk about them as much and keep on replaying the pain by telling the story over and over again to different people. When you find yourself maybe going out on a date with somebody and saying, oh yeah, I was married, or yeah, I had an ex that we broke up 6 months ago, and that's it. You realize I'm starting to heal. Things are starting to shift. Okay, so things are starting to shift. How can you get to that day faster? That day where you're like, I don't even care. Don't care what they're doing. I don't care who they're with. I wish them well. Not like where you feel good. You feel good about the future. You feel good about the present. Stop contact, right? Stop, remove the fuel for the fire, for the obsession. Stop contact. Stop reaching out unless there's valid reasons, like you share kids together or you're still going through legal proceedings and you have to have contact. But even then, oftentimes you can go through your attorneys. So stop the contact. I want you to create a reality list. I want you to write down and be really honest with yourself, because it's only going to work if you're honest with yourself about what the relationship was actually like, what it really was like versus the fantasy of what you wanted or needed that relationship to be like. So be really honest. Create 2 columns so you can actually see them, right? Like side by side. And then lastly, And do a future self visualization. I want you to imagine what your happiest, most fulfilled, most whole self looks like. I do this with clients in almost every hypnosis session where I'll say, hey, step into that future self, right? When they're under trance, under hypnosis. It's very, very powerful, but you can't just step into it. This is why affirmations don't work without feeling. Affirmations can work if there's a feeling behind it. So you need to get to that state of mind where you can feel that. So I want you to feel you step into that self. See how my shoulders roll back. I want you to feel yourself. And I'll often see clients like sit up taller and smile, or loosen up a little bit where they were tense before, as you step into that version of yourself that is yet to be. Who you're with, how you're feeling, how you're walking, how you're speaking, how you're moving, feel all of those things. And I believe I do that in some of my guided hypnosis sessions here on the channel, so you can check those out to see how that can benefit you. But I want you to really, really understand that the day is coming, the day of relief, the day of moving forward and not caring about what they're doing is coming for you. And when it does, I want you to be prepared, because it's going to feel like freedom. It's going to feel like you're free, whether that's to date, to pursue a new hobby, maybe to move, maybe it's to get remarried for some of you, whatever that might be, or just to be a better parent, to be a better partner to yourself, right? Self-partnering is so important. And I want you to understand that you're closer than you think, guys. You're closer than you think. Every day, when I work with clients, I say, hey, document how you're feeling, document the changes. I don't care how subtle you think they are, because those build up over time and become massive, monumental shifts and changes in your psyche, in your mindset, and your well-being, your mental space, your emotional space, psychological space, spiritual space, and physical space. So if you're ready to move towards that breakthrough, if you're ready to have those aha moments, I want you to book that discovery call with me. Book that 20-minute free discovery call, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. And if we are, I can promise you that I will partner with you. I can promise you that we get you to more safety, more security, more wholeness within yourself, and just a feeling of, I've got this. I'm powerful enough, confident enough to move past this and beyond this. Sending you guys so much love. Take care.